So this video is going to be about my most memorable experience of clinical this semester. This was a particular day during preseason. It was a stressful 95-degree day in August, and the squad was in full pads. We don't know why. We suggested coach maybe not do that because the heat index was way in the red, but that didn't happen. We were in full alert. We were on full alert that day. We had ice towels ready to go, and we were refreshed ourselves on what we needed to do in case of heat illness. It was a DEFCON 1 situation. So what happened later on during practice is the boys screwed up, and their punishment was gassers. They allowed the kickers to kick punts or field goals from, I think it was like 40 yards or something like that, and if they made them, then they didn't have to do the gassers. So they started with 2. First kick missed, so they didn't get any gassers cut off. Second kick missed, so they had 2 gassers to do. Coach said, hey, do you want to double it or nothing? Of course, everyone on the team went, yeah. And so the kicker came up, short, gone, not good. So now they had 4 gassers. And then coach goes, hey, double or nothing again, as a joke. And of course, all the football kids were like, yeah, let's go and do it again. Kicker misses for the 4th time, unsurprisingly. So now they have 8 gassers on a 95-degree day in full pads. So we were already stressing. So right in front of me, Mike, and Mara at the time, this dude, they're running sideline, and he comes back, and he's standing. They get like a 30-second rest in between each one. And he's just standing, walking around, hands on his head. And all of a sudden, he just, boom, down. And we hear Coach Lichten scream, Razor, at the as loud as he possibly could. And it was kind of scary. But the dude just passed out and he was fine. He woke back up, and we just waited for him to stand back up. And he didn't have any heat illness. We just brought him back up to the AT room. But that was only the first thing that happened that day. The second thing was my roommate, Spencer. Say hi, Spencer. Oh, we lost the elf. We lost the elf. So back to talking about my friend Spencer, who is no longer on the football team, so that's why I'm able to talk about him, and he said it's okay. Yes, you did. You verbally said it was okay. We're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now. So anyways, he is a type 1 diabetic, and he has been for years, and... Stop, bro. So anyways, after the gassers, he wasn't feeling too good. He was sitting down, kneeling by his helmet. He was breathing heavy, and he checked his blood sugar, and he was at 44. And Kara had said something about we should probably look up that and in the position statements about something about that because we could get fined or sued. Yes, lawsuit. And so anyways, we looked in the position statements. There was one on diabetes from 2007, and I was tasked with building a plan for him. So it was something simple like make sure he has snacks and extra stuff that he would need for pump sites or stuff like that. Along with he had to be between 70 and 250 mg for deciliter, whatever the thing was, units or something like that for his blood sugar. It's a very huge range, but we just felt like that's what he needed at the time. So we presented to Brian. He okays it, and he's like, all right, so I'll have Spencer come in. I'm going to have a talk with him about this in my office. And Brian's like, would you like to join me? I was like, sure, I'll come in for that. So I go get Spencer, and we're walking towards the AT room, and I'm like, Spence, this is no big deal. This isn't like an intervention or anything. It's just something where this is just how it's going to have to be now. And we go in the office. He closes the door. We sit down, and Brian looks at Spencer and goes, Spence, we're worried about you. This is an intervention. And in my mind, I'm like, no, this is not what we wanted. This wasn't what I just told him. It wasn't this, and I didn't want him to freak out or be annoyed at me because it wasn't that big of a deal. But Brian just made it that big of a deal. And we went over it, and Spencer was okay with it. And Spencer was in the range every day, and his diabetes and his blood sugar was much better handled after that since we put in the plan.
Consent to this.
Stop. Yes, you do. So yeah, that was my most memorable experience. One of them, two of them, the same day. Had to do stuff. Brian taking things way overboard with the intervention. But yeah.